Hey everyone, it's June 5th, and that means that if today's your birthday, you share with Salvadoran-American serial killer Ramon Escobar, who murdered 7 victims in California and Texas in 2018, but wasn't done killing even when he got caught. And that is him right up there. Escobar was born in El Salvador in 1971 and grew up in an area ravaged by war with neighboring Honduras. He entered the U.S. without documentation in the mid-80s, but was deported in 1988, returning in the early 90s and moving in with relatives in Houston. Not having documentation led to difficulty finding work, and he ended up in prison from 1995 to 2000 for theft, being deported once again at the end of that term. He was back in 2001 but was arrested shortly after he arrived and spent 2 years in prison, during which time he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. More deportations and illegal entries occurred, with Escobar getting kicked out of the U.S. at least 6 times before 2011, but returning shortly after each. In 2012, Escobar crossed into Texas but was caught by Border Patrol agents and was thrown into jail, where he showed signs of mental issues and was transferred to a psychiatric hospital in Missouri. After treatment, he was sent back to Texas, where he was in prison for 2 years, being deported yet again in 2015. When he came back, and at this point you have to expect to hear that he did, he applied for asylum, which was granted in 2017, being given permanent residency and moving in with his aunt and uncle in Houston yet again. He had a few more minor troubles with the law, paying fines for committing petty theft and trespassing, but none of his crimes to this point had been violent, and he was thought to be harmless. But in 2018, that turned out to not be the case, as he beat his 65-year-old uncle to death with a police baton. He didn't bother trying to hide evidence other than the body, and his 60-year-old aunt grew suspicious that her brother hadn't come home. When she left in her minivan to go look for him, Escobar hid in the back of the vehicle and strangled her to death in a parking lot. He then dumped the bodies in separate dumpsters, which weren't discovered until 2 months later when they were in a landfill. The police detained Escobar but didn't have enough evidence to charge him, and he left for California, living in homeless encampments when he arrived. In September of 2018, Escobar attacked a homeless man in Santa Monica while he slept, beating him with a bat. Luckily, the man survived, but 2 days later, Escobar beat another man so severely that he ended up in a coma, dying 4 months later. Meanwhile, Escobar was beating and killing the homeless across the region, including multiple victims in downtown Los Angeles and Santa Monica. His MO was to find someone sleeping on the street or beach, beat them with a baseball bat, take any valuables or money they had, and leave them to die. Escobar was caught by the police minutes after assaulting his final homeless murder victim, being charged with 5 murders, 7 attempted murders, and multiple robberies. Charges in Texas were brought over the murders of his aunt and uncle. Escobar pleaded guilty in 2022, accepting life in prison for his crimes. In February of this year, however, he killed his cellmate at North Kern State Prison with a ligature and is now facing yet another murder trial. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Ramon Escobar, I say, happy birthday, you bastard.